Hi everybody, and welcome back to Room 9, our region's largest classroom. My name is Miss St. Louis, and I'm a teacher at Rogers Elementary School in the Mehlville School District, and we are located in South St. Louis County. Today, I'm here to teach a reading lesson that's geared towards students who are in the 3rd grade, but all learners are more than welcome to join and explore along with us. So let's get started. This week, we are talking all about point of view. Now, to review, point of view is the perspective from which a text is written. Okay, so it's the way in which a story is told and presented to us. And when we read text, we often see text told from 2 different points of view. So the first is first person point of view, and that is when the story is told from the viewpoint of one of the characters. The second is third person point of view, and that's when the narrator is not part of the story. Now, in order to be able to identify if a book is told from first person or third person point of view, we look for some key words, right? So when talking about first person point of view, some key words we might see are I, me, we. When talking about third person point of view, some keywords we might see are he, she, and they. So those words are actually a part of their own category, okay? Those words are all called pronouns. Now, pronouns are the words that take the place of common or proper nouns. We know that nouns can be put into a few categories, right? People, places, things, animals. Okay, so we can replace those words with these pronouns. And examples of pronouns are he, him, she, you, I, me, we. Okay, those are some examples of some pronouns. So before we started today, I wanted to review pronouns for you. And the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to read some sentences, and you're going to help me replace some of the words with a pronoun. All right, you think you can do this? Okay, let's try it. Friday was the coldest day of the month. What could I replace Friday with? Could I use the word that, it, or them? Let's see, let's try them. That was the coldest day of the month. It was the coldest day of the month. Them was the coldest day of the month. What do you think? Which one's the best fit? I'm hearing a consensus that we think it should be it. It was the coldest day of the month. Do you agree? Sounds good to me. Let's try another one. Okay. The bike is in the backyard. The bike is in the backyard. I want to replace the word the words the bike. So, could I replace that with it, we, or them? What do you think? Very good. It is in the backyard. Very good. We can't say we because we aren't part of the bike. And we can't say them because the bike isn't a group of people, right? It's one thing. So that's when we would use the word it. Very good. You guys have a really good eye for this. All right, next one. The radio is busted. The radio is busted. What can I replace the radio with? It, he, or she? Very good. I would replace it with it. It is busted, right? We don't really refer to our radios as boys or girls, so we wouldn't use he or she. We would use it when referring to it. Very good. All right, you guys are pretty good at this. Let's see if maybe I can trick you up a little bit. Let's try something a little harder. I was excited to see Grandma and Grandpa. I was excited to see Grandma and Grandpa. What could I replace Grandma and Grandpa with? We, it, or them? I was excited to see... Very good. It's them. Oh, you guys got this. Oh, so smart. All right. Next one. The ice cream sandwiches are yours and mine. The ice cream sandwiches are yours and mine. What could I replace yours and mine with? Ours, he, or them? The ice cream sandwiches are very good. Ours. Very good. All right, so those are pronouns, boys and girls, and we'll continue to practice with our pronouns later on this week. But remember that pronouns are some of those key words that we're looking for. They're part of that pronoun family. So I wanted to take a moment to review those. Now, today we are going to be reading a book. Okay, and this book is told from a third person point of view. So you'll remember that when something's told from a third person point of view, that means that the narrator is not part of the story, right? So our book is going to use words like he, she, and they. So the book that we're reading is called Little Bad Riding Hood. Wait, is that right? Little Bad Riding Hood. That doesn't sound right to me. Does that sound right to you? Let's read the back. See if maybe they just misprinted the front. Let's read the back. Little Bad Riding Hood is off to see Granny carrying a very tasty basket of cakes. She escapes from the wolf, but the cakes look very tempting. Can she get to Granny's house without eating them herself? Doesn't sound like the fairy tale I know. Maybe this is one of those fractured fairy tales. Have you ever heard of those? So when something's fractured, right, that means that it's broken a little bit. So if you fracture a bone, that means that you break that bone just a little bit. So a fractured fairy tale is a fairy tale that's been broken a little bit. So some things have been changed around. So I'm thinking this book's a fractured fairy tale that it might have some changes in it. So we might have to keep our eyes open to see what's different about this story from the regular fairy tale that we know. Are you ready to dive in? All right, before we do our read aloud, let's shake it out. Make sure that our bodies are ready to listen to a book. I know that sometimes for me, it's hard to sit for so long when we read books. So let's stretch up real tall. And touch our toes. And rock our heads from side to side. And roll it in a circle one way and another way. All right, you ready? Let's do this. Little Bad Riding Hood by Julia Jarman and Jane Coe. Once upon a time, there was a naughty little girl named Little Bad Riding Hood. I don't remember her being naughty, do you? No, what does that mean if someone's naughty? Yeah, it means that they don't always follow the rules, right? It means that they aren't really the best behaved. You see her in this picture? She's eating the bird seed that she should be feeding to the birds. One day, her mother said, "Take these cakes to your granny, dear, and try to be good. Go straight there and don't speak to any strangers." Little Bad Riding Hood set off, but soon wandered off the path and met a tall, gray stranger. Cakes," said the wolf. "They look delicious." Uh-oh. "Hands off! They're for my granny," said Little Bad Riding Hood, trying to be good. "But she won't miss one, will she?" said the wolf. Suddenly, he heard a noise and ran off. I wonder what the noise was. What do you think the noise was? Yeah, we see this little tractor in the back. Maybe that has something to do with it. Little Bad Riding Hood walked on and thought about the wolf's words. They look delicious. She ate one little cake, then another, and another. Uh-oh. Is she doing what she's supposed to? What do you think's gonna happen next? So remember, right now we're making a prediction. We're guessing what we think's going to happen next in the story. So what do you predict? What do you think's gonna happen next with Little Bad Riding Hood? I hear she's gonna get to Granny's. I hear she's gonna eat all of the cookies and cakes. She's gonna get lost maybe? Let's see. "Oh, crumbs," cried Little Bad Riding Hood after she had eaten all the cakes. "Now what can I give Granny?" Some of you made a good prediction. She looked around and put stones in her basket instead. Perhaps Granny won't notice, she thought, and hurried on. Do you think you would notice if someone tried to give you stones instead of cookies and cakes? I think I would notice if someone tried to play that trick on me. Meanwhile, at Granny's cottage, the wolf was busy. He tied Granny up and hid her. He put on her nightcap, jumped in her bed, and made up a tasty menu. Menu: 1, cakes. 2, Granny. 3, Bad Riding Hood. Uh-oh. At last, there was a knock on the door. "Granny, may I come in?" called Little Bad Riding Hood. "Yes, my dear," the wolf replied, pretending to be Granny. "Oh, Granny," said Little Bad Riding Hood, "you look very ill. What big eyes you've got." "All the better to see you with," said the wolf. "Now give me the cakes." Uh-oh. She doesn't have the cakes. Do you think the wolf's gonna be happy that she doesn't have the cakes or mad? Probably mad, right? Because he's really looking forward to those cakes. If he's mad, what do you think he'll try and do? Maybe try and eat her up? I don't know. We'll see. Oops, I almost skipped a page. I don't want to skip a page for you. But Granny, said Little Bad Riding Hood, you look terrible. What a big nose you've got. All the better to smell you with, said the wolf. Now give me the cakes. Oh, he's getting impatient now. Do you know what that means if you're impatient? Yeah, that means that you really want something, right? You want it now. You've been waiting for a really long time and you really, really want it. And the wolf, he really wants those cakes. But Granny, said Little Bad Riding Hood, what a big mouth you've got. All the better to eat you with, said the wolf. But first, I want cakes. Uh-oh. Take them, said Little Bad Riding Hood, but you won't like them. The wolf grabbed the basket and started to eat. What is he eating? That's right, he's eating rocks. What? Crack! Went his teeth as they crunched on the stones. Crunch, crack. Ouch! Cried the wolf as his teeth fell out. And he ran away, toothless. Well done, Little Bad Riding Hood, said Granny. The wolf won't be eating anyone for a while. But why were you bringing me a basket of stones? As Granny looked around, Little Bad Riding Hood was already running out the door. The end. And that is the end of our story, The Little Bad Riding Hood. What did you think about it? Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good story too. So I thought we could take a chance to summarize this book, because when we summarize things right, it's a short little statement that tells us about the main events in the text. So we're going to fill out a somebody wanted but so then chart. All right, so let me back this up so you can see all the pieces, right? So help me answer some of these questions. So somebody, who is the main character? Okay, so Little Bad Riding Hood. Oops, I'm running out of space. Okay, so we have Little Bad Riding Hood and wanted. What did she want? Or what was she doing? She wanted to bring Granny some cookies and cakes. Wanted to bring Granny some cookies and cakes. But what was the problem? That's right, she ate them all. But she ate them all. So, how did she try and solve the problem? Yeah, she collected rocks instead. And then what was the solution? What did she do? And she used them to scare the wolf away. Very good. So here is our summary of the story. Little Red Riding Hood. I always think I'm saying that wrong. Little Bad Riding Hood wanted to bring Granny some cookies and cakes, but she ate them all. So she collected rocks instead and used them to scare the wolf away. It's a really good summary. So this story, right, was told from a third person point of view, right? So we got to see some of those pronouns like they and she, right? He. Now, we know that when we talk about third person, we talk about two different perspectives, right? Omniscient, when the narrator shares the thoughts and feelings of all the characters, and limited, when the narrator shares the thoughts and feelings of just one character. So what do you think? Is this limited or omniscient? Let's see. Do we know the thoughts and feelings of Little Bad Riding Hood? Do we know the thoughts and feelings of the wolf? What do you think? We do see them, right, for Little Bad Riding Hood, but we don't see a lot of the thoughts and feelings of the wolf in this, right? So when we talk about Little Bad Riding Hood, we see her thoughts, right? And she's thinking about the wolf's words, so we see her thinking right here about what she's doing, right? But we don't see that when it comes to the wolf. So this is probably told with a limited viewpoint, right? Where our narrator just knows about the thoughts and feelings of Little Bad Riding Hood, right? Does that make sense? Good. So often when we talk about fairy tales, right, or fractured fairy tales in this case, there's a moral to the story, right? A lesson that's learned. What do you think Little Bad Riding Hood could have learned from this interaction with the wolf? Yeah, she probably could learn that she probably shouldn't eat all the cookies up, right? But it kind of paid off in the end that she did, didn't it? What else do you think? I'm hearing somebody say that you should stand up to bullies, right? Well, the wolf was a bully. She did stand up to him, so that was a good little perspective that she had. This one's a little harder to find the moral of the story, isn't it? Because it's a little fractured. It's a little different, and it doesn't have the same moral that we had from Little Red Riding Hood. So some books, like these fractured fairy tales, they can change the outcomes of our stories, right? We saw that this book, Little Bad Riding Hood, had a different outcome from our original story, Little Red Riding Hood. But we also saw that it had some things in common, right? We saw that it had Granny and the wolf, and it had the little girl, right? And she was going to visit. And we saw that the wolf took the place of the grandma. So this book had some things in common, right? and it had some things that were different. And so the book was told from the same perspective, right? It's told from that perspective of the little girl, same as the fairy tale that we know. Now out there are some books that are told from the viewpoint of the wolf. One that I can think of off the top of my head is called Lon Po Po. It might be a book that you want to check out to see if your local library has, or go to the county library or your school library and see if they have that book. There are also plenty of others that are told from the viewpoint of the wolf, and they give you a different perspective, right? So perspective is from that viewpoint. So this story was told from the viewpoint of the little girl, and so we got to see her thoughts and feelings. But if we had read the story from the viewpoint of the wolf, do you think maybe that would have changed how we viewed the story? It might have. Maybe then we would know, why does the wolf really want those cakes so bad? Why does the wolf not like Granny and the little girl? Right? So looking at stories from different perspectives can be very helpful. Sometimes when we're in a fight with someone, people ask you to take a look from their perspective, right? So we're thinking about things from somebody else's viewpoint, because it's not only important how the story is being told from what point of view, but also the main character that we're thinking about. So that's always something to keep in mind. All right, boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed today's lesson, and I hope that you enjoyed our little fractured fairy tale that we read today. I know that I thought it was really fun to read, and I hope that you'll come back tomorrow as we read another really great story and continue our talk about point of view. But until we see you next time, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Teaching in Room 9 is made possible with support of Bank of America, Dana Brown Charitable Trust, Emerson, and viewers like you.